Right, today we are going to go beyond the Kop and look at 5 things we learnt from Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2. Number 5, Milos Kerkez isn't quite as ready as we thought. The signing of Milos Kerkez, while perhaps flying under the radar, given the fact the Reds are making it a mission to sign as many world beaters as possible at the moment, was still an important and necessary step in the next phase of Arne Slot's Liverpool life cycle, with Robbo starting to show signs of a decrease in quality and Tsimikas still not good enough to be a regular first teamer in the side. And after the season the Hungarian had for Bournemouth last campaign, it is clear for all to see that he possesses qualities that can elevate the Reds' attacking threat and defensive talent, but perhaps we are still some way away from seeing him at his scintillating best, given how much of a mixed bag his performance against his former side was on Friday. While he did put out 5 clearances and covered more distance than even Jeremy Frimpong in the process, he was caught out of position on several occasions, with one particular instance of him, assuming the Bournemouth attacker was offside, almost leading to a goal against us. He seemed rash and off the pace at points, and even picked up a yellow card for an incredibly rushed and unnecessary sliding tackle in the 43rd minute, which saw him substituted off just 17 minutes later. No doubt there will be teething issues going into a new side with a new style of play to Bournemouth, but there can perhaps be a few causes for concern, especially when it came to his pace or lack thereof last night. Number 4, Hugo Ekitike in the false 9 role is perfect. I've said it before on this channel and on others that one of the main reasons we signed Hugo Ekitike wasn't just for his goal-scoring talents, although that seems to be the cherry on top at the moment. It was because of his creativity and effective link-up play through the centre of the pitch. We saw it briefly against Palace. We saw it on full display against Bournemouth, with the man whose name spelled backwards is the same as how it is forwards, the more you know, picking up 4 shot-creating actions throughout his 72 minutes on the pitch, with only Florian Wirtz creating more for the Reds throughout. And we also saw him produce 3 progressive passes and 2 progressive carries, all while his heat map indicates that the majority of his time on the pitch was spent in and around the centre circle. This didn't hamper his attempts at goal though, with him managing 4 shots, 2 of which were on target, and he also scored a beautiful composed finish into the bottom corner, while also picking up an assist for Cody Gakpo in the process. Truly, it feels like at the moment, Ekitike is playing how we all wanted Nunez to play, but the difference is, watching Hugo on the ball doesn't look like Bambi trying to walk on ice after 8 pints of dark fruit. He feels like a breath of fresh air, and long may that continue. Number 3, Federico Chiesa needs to stay. It may just be a reactionary entry on this list, but I don't care. There is a real issue up front at the moment, and that issue is we have less depth than a pothole on Breck Road. Once Ekitike went off, things seemed to stagnate at the top of the pitch, with Gakpo looking ran down and unable to produce, and Salah up until the 4th goal looking like he was in for another average performance following the one last Sunday. But my God, Chiesa, where have you been hiding that? At a time where we have no real viable options off the bench until a certain Swede decides to get what he wants, keeping Chiesa is imperative for us. He added energy back into the front line, and his finish alone justified the song ringing out for another week if the fans wanted to. He was only on for 8 minutes, but he covered 1.8 kilometres, won both of his ground duels he was involved in, picked up 1 tackle, and of course produced the best knee slide since Suarez. You need a contingency plan, and with Salah set to leave for AFCON midway through the season, and with the right hand side still a bit of a mess at the moment as to who will play right back if Bradley is injured and Frimpong has to be right wing, having Chiesa, particularly with Doak leaving, is a massive thing for us. Number 2, we still look too open at the back. A big thing, particularly in the second half of last season, as despite the fact that the Reds were dominating matches and producing terrific performances, we still concede too many shots, and more often than not, goals, with us only keeping 3 clean sheets in our final 16 matches. Even if we knew the league was finished, that is cause for concern. And after the Community Shield defeat, Slot said as much himself, indicating that despite our talent for attacking football, we still concede too many chances, and it showed again yesterday. That first goal we conceded stemmed from one direct through ball between Frimpong, so high up the pitch he could taste heaven, and Konate, who we will get to shortly, with both Van Dijk and Robbo not able to track Semenyo in the process. And the second was just a defensive mess, ending up in a 4-on-2 situation which saw Konate slip on his arse trying to block the ball like a kitten trying to block a cannonball. We conceded 3 big chances, and honestly Bournemouth should have scored more, and we gave up 10 shots, 3 of which were on target, and 8 of those 10 shots came from inside our own box. It's not the worst stats ever, but this is against the Bournemouth side who had their defence picked apart over the summer. Do you really think against a Newcastle or an Arsenal in our next 2 matches we're going to be let off as lightly? I doubt it. And number one, Konate just doesn't look arsed. It's true though, he doesn't. Maybe it's me reading into it too much given the contract dispute, and we've seen what that can do to a player in recent months, or maybe it is the tactical setup leaving us exposed in attacking transitions, but Ibu's performance yesterday perhaps signals both. He may have made 6 clearances and blocked 1 shot, but he also lost possession 6 times, lost 50% of his ground duels, and attempted to put out 3 long balls throughout the match, all 3 of which were unsuccessful. And honestly, every mistake he made almost set Bournemouth off on a counter-attack, which he did not look ready to defend. At a time when Mark Gahey is being linked to the club, and having seen our substitutes last night affect the game in a pretty negative way at the beginning, maybe we do need to be prioritising Gahey more than Isak at the moment. There needs to be an injection of life into that centre-back pairing, and if Ibu's performance yesterday is anything to go off of, maybe he agrees as well.